Hey everybody, welcome to the Crypto Beach. Today we've got Jacqueline here. She's also from Miami. And ultimately, she's going to tell us about how she got into crypto, some tips and interesting trends, insights that she feels is valuable to the audience. So without further ado, Jacqueline, go ahead and take it away.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Akeem. Sorry. Wow, recording, I already messed up your name. Akeem, right?
So yeah, you got it right the second time. That's all that
matters. All right. So I got into crypto, Bitcoin 2017, just reading about it in media. It's really hard to ignore the news. So just figuring it out, doing more research on it that way, kind of being intrigued about how it was digital and applicable to uh, the US dollar and how people were carving a space for themselves. So just research that on their own, and I along the way would find out about Bitcoin ATMs being made and stuff like that. So that's basically how I got into that.
That's pretty cool. So you pretty much were like interested on your own. You were like, hey, look, man, this is some interesting new stuff. I'm just going to explore to see if I can learn more. And man, how did you get oriented? I mean, there's the wallets, learning how to use them. How did you figure that out?
Well, I really just used Coinbase. I mean, people were talking about wallets left and right, and I was like, either I don't know what the heck's going on, or I'm gonna just stick to one and see how it goes from there.
Yeah.
Um, but Coinbase, I mean, in the beginning, it was literally nothing, but they really expanded it a lot, and like even to now, where there's so many tokens like being involved in the digital space, they're really great at like explaining how those tokens work and what their purpose is. And I'm really glad I actually ended up sticking with it. It was kind of crazy when I would talk to like friends in Seattle and like Coinbase wasn't allowed there by the United States government or something. It was like crazy to but also a blessing to just be in Miami and be able to have like that ease of access.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So when you got into it, did you tell anybody else, or like how, like you were just kind of exploring this kind of niche subculture of payments and accepting digital payment? Did any of your friends also take part in it? But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my friends kind of came to it on their own similar. I mean, whenever they would talk about it, I wouldn't necessarily say I was part of like a Bitcoin onboarding process or anything like that. Kind of like
Yeah.
with the most recent waves, it literally feels like that. But if they came to it on their own, I was just like, yeah, I have some Bitcoin. It's just chilling. I'm chilling. It's $5 I'm not gonna miss. So yeah. Eventually people I would talk to the people that were coming into a shop that I was, working at the time and using the Bitcoin ATM and be like, what got you into this, dude? So definitely heard a lot of crazy stories that way.
Same. Yeah, for sure. Um, you know, when when I got into the crypto world, there was this thing called meetups. You can go, you can meet people in person, and they'll share this, how they got into it and how to use different tools and stuff like that. There were also like some online communities on Reddit. Did you ever explore those communities at all, physical or online?
I mean, honestly, when Bitcoin really started popping off, I was working like 3 jobs. I was like really busy.
Wow.
So yeah, it was like it was a very hustle oriented time for me. And I was actually still very young. I'm only 25,
Oh wow.
surprisingly. So
And Z.
yeah. But it was really just, I mean, yeah, there was hype. I didn't get an opportunity to go like set meetups because again, doing stuff for like ultra, working retail, working at a salon, it was like I don't have time for very much at all.
Yeah, no, okay, cool. So, in terms of kind of things you wish, is there anything you wish you knew about crypto before you got started, or any tips that you think that someone who's getting into crypto should take heed to, or things like that?
Yeah. Tips for getting into crypto. Definitely, look into valuable resources. For me, I would always kind of look at the mainstream kind of stuff first, and then I would kind of dive deeper on different articles and different like journalist perspectives on it when it was still brand new. But there's so much now, there's so many entry points, especially today. Whether it's on Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's Solana, which is a new coin.
Yeah.
Um, there there's a lot of ways to be able to figure out like what's going on, and it's a lot more accessible now. So you're not like back in 2017 me like reading through articles, seeing how the government's reacting and how there's like
Yeah.
all this like combatant.
Yeah.
um but it's more so just like, okay, we're acclimating to this now, it's not something that's going to go away, different stuff like that. So I think just reaching out to friends that you see even now collecting artwork, uh like NFTs and stuff like that, they're just a text or DM away. So
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that takes us to the next point around trends, NFTs. You mentioned them. So, are you involved with any? And what's your general take on NFTs?
Um, personally, my take on NFTs is that it's fucking fantastic. I mean, we've lived it coming from the music industry and, knowing about art culture and the art world. It's just like we're in a place in the real world right now where it's just like artists aren't seeing a lot of the profits that their art is generating. So
Yeah.
NFTs is really like a great way to give that back to them, and for them to use that as a resource to nurture communities, as opposed to like throwing money in this systematic abyss almost. So it's definitely revolutionary for some artists, especially producers, because like even in the electronic world there's like a crazy ever since 2018, like SoundCloud days almost, there's like a lot of producers and a lot of talent that are looking for opportunities, and music is such a finicky thing because once you get into a label or distribution aspect, it's like now you're figuring out royalties and splits with other people that you work with and all these crazy complex contracts. So NFTs for both artists, musicians alike, are really a great way to make a living off what they like to do, and I think everybody deserves that opportunity for sure. Some projects that I'm interested in working with, one of them is Wobblebug, which is Wookie and co-creator Florian's NFT. It's an alien DJ producer. So he
Cool.
DJs in the metaverse, and we have different collections and different concepts for different collections, and being able to work on that team, make sure everything's organized, kind of like community and project managing, has just been a really great experience. And if it wasn't for Wookie, I definitely wouldn't be in this space because he introduced me even back when he had a creator token. So very cool stuff. And a lot of other projects with brands like people already know, like Mishka. Mishka just launched their first NFT. Yeah, I was in their space a little bit earlier. So
Yes.
it's an amazing time to start looking into DAOs, which are decentralized organizations, and other projects with brands you're familiar with. There's just so
Yeah.
many to touch on. Yeah.
That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. So, talk to us a little bit about how that came together, if you can, for a couple minutes.
Hmm.
The project with Wookie and the co-creator,
Florian. Hmm.
Florian. How do these things come together? Do they ever kind of divulge that?
Yeah, well, I had the opportunity to meet him back at Sunset Music Festival, and he's creative just enigma. He can be like so much and so all over the place, but I mean, he's Grammy nominated for a reason, right? So he kind of had the idea for Wobblebug for a while, and then he worked with another artist like Gesture, and of course the co-creator Florian, who's done graphic design for other NFT projects like Genies and Artifact, actually. So that's really cool. And this is kind of, I don't even know personally how that door opened, but they're really good friends now and they're co-creators on this project. So really freaking cool. And I was just Wookie's friend from his Discord server, ironically. I was just like helping him with that, helping him with like Twitch and stuff like that. And now we're just channeling all our energy into this project, and it's really, really paying off.
Well, I'm really happy to hear that, it's gonna, that you're part of this, because, at the end of the day, that empowerment is gonna be huge. A rising tide lifts all boats, so that's pretty dope. We're reaching the end of the interview here. Is there anyone you like to shout out, or would you like people in the audience to follow you somewhere? Feel free to just share about that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely follow at Wobblebug on all socials. I personally go by Girl Jackie, which is without the I, so GRLJACKIE, and definitely active, especially on Twitter. You'll see me in a bunch of spaces all the time, and shout out my mom.
Yeah, definitely. You can never go wrong with that one. All right.
I know, right?
Cool. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining, Jackie. And yeah, we look forward to seeing a successful project with Wobblebug and all that. And more to come. I'm sure you're going to get involved with even more exciting things, just given how far you've come now, 25.
Yeah.
Just getting started.
Just getting started.